For us in IGAD, we are always excited when we are able to come together as a family. We come and share our experiences.
To begin, first of all, to really thank the IGAD Centre of Excellence for prevention and countering of violent extremism, for the partnership.
We just don't share experiences, but we see how we strengthen our institutions, but also strengthen ourselves as human beings. How do we deal with these threats in a collective way?
Terrorism is a transnational crime. We find that an attack planned in one country is executed in another country. So if there is terrorism threat in Somalia, it also affects other regions.
So we move from the individual reintegration into community-based reintegration, and this is coming from community-based organization.
The other aspect within the strategic vision is a strong, coordinated and collective capacity to reject and resist extremism and to minimize the number of individuals whom terrorists can radicalize and recruit to violence.
The time has come to an end where the youth, and now it's the time for you to be recognized as an active agent and also partners for peace building and PCVE.
In this work that we do, we all need each other. We need the government, and the government needs you. Remember, one person can make a difference, but together we can create social change.
The 5 pillars of national strategy from our pillar is basically coordination, community engagement, national communication strategy, disengagement, disassociation, rehabilitation and reintegration, and research and threat assessment.
On the pathway to sustainable peace, 4 key areas of concern that we should really focus on as a region. We need to really ensure that there are early warning mechanisms, especially those that really focus at the community-based systems, because in our context we show most of these communal violence have been fueled by some of these local structures within the country, and these are where we need to really focus our response to.
Violent extremism groups may use the identity factor, may use the identity or tribal grievances, which are sometimes right, they may use to advance their agenda and to find recruitment.
We are focusing on an interesting topic. We are looking at women, youth, and media. How gender dynamics shape both vulnerability and resilience, as you also talk about some of the interventions.
We cannot actually disconnect between youth from women in our case in this PCVE interventions. That's why whenever we intervene, we design together with the communities programs on this intervention. We must include women, men, youth particularly, and the religious leaders.
What makes the youth uniquely positioned to contribute to PCVE efforts?
The solution that we have for a particular experience can be different, so we bring different insights and perspectives to peace building efforts. We can articulate our experiences through write-ups, research, and we can provide solutions to existing problems that we see from our perspectives.
Whenever we get opportunities and whenever we get spaces where we can advocate for other young people and for other women and young people, let's create that spaces for youth to co-create the solution that they want, not as we prescribe it for them.
I believe that if we give opportunities for the young people, they can not only have the ability to change their local communities, but they have ability to shine at the global level.
The media cannot work in isolation. One of the key things that the media can safely navigate the unstable waters of reporting on preventing violent extremism is through collaboration. It needs to bring on board and also have champions.
Technology is running out of our hands, however good it is. So it's, I think there has to be investment done on those areas. So that because it is now as a tool of heads and propaganda and all that. So how do we control them? We have to do some investment so that we control those ones.
We've learned that you can never engage women without bringing the men on board, given that our communities are patriarchal in nature.
One thing that we feel is a gap and need as well as part of the opportunity is if we can really synergize more or tap into one policy, especially, or a strategy that is founded by the IGAD, that we can all work towards our PCVE effort.
I am suggesting that there are 3 categories of actions that relate to either of these. Relief, focusing on victims and perpetrators. Perpetrators are as victims of their own sense of power.
Look across the East African community, the South Sudanese, the Ethiopians, the Somalis, the Kenyans, the Ugandans, the Djiboutians. These are socially conservative, by and large, communities, and religious, very religious communities. And so where is the problem? What's the disconnect? That people that are so religious can at the same time live in societies where everything that's ungodly prevails.
In the group, when we are discussing, is that how can we mainstream aspects of climate change, because we are alive to the fact that climate change is a leading contributor to some of the conflicts we are experiencing in the region, and is also a silent driver to violent extremism. I think sometimes we don't pay attention to that.
Rehabilitation and reintegration of returnees. So maybe states have different ways of RR, so they can harmonize that and have one common policy.
We need to strengthen on information sharing through the digital hub. We also need to co-create. Communities are strongly calling not only for programs, but they are calling for full and meaningful participation. What does this mean? It means they need to be engaged right from co-creation to the time when we are giving out results.
Violent extremism is really a cutting issue in the region, as we all know. The need of an inclusive role of all the stakeholders to educate the community on BVE. Addressing violent extremism by religious leaders through interfaith dialogue. We do know that religious leaders hold a really high roles and responsibility when it comes to the community in various religions. So I think it's going to be a plus to enable those religious leaders in raising an awareness within the community.
We discussed that we need to also enhance the collaboration and the partnership among the COP members.
When you look at IGAD, just know it's your organization. Please tell us how we can make it better, how we can improve. So we thank you very much for that commitment. I'm sure with UNDP we are preparing for the next one. And I'm happy that from the comments that you have given us and from the areas that you have suggested for us, we'll be able to craft a theme.
On my own behalf and on behalf of UNDP, really I feel a lot of gratitude, and it's really just a moment of appreciation. I want to highlight the element of partnerships and networks, appreciating the partnership we have with IGAD. We are stronger together than we are individually. We welcome feedback as we go along. We have a way forward. We have a common message. We have a clear direction for 2026. I think this has been extremely, extremely rich. And as UNDP, we look forward to continuing on this path together. Thank you very much.